Just 30 days ago, I couldn't speak even a full sentence in English without feeling nervous or searching for words. I used to doubt myself, avoid speaking out loud, and wonder if I would ever become fluent. But something changed. I made a decision. Not to wait for the perfect moment, not to rely on just grammar books, but to take small, daily actions that actually work. And within 1 month, my English speaking confidence improved like never before. In this video, I'm going to share the exact steps I followed. Real, practical tips that helped me think and speak in English without fear. And trust me, if I could do it, so can you. Week 1. The mindset shift. Speak without fear. The first week was all about changing how I think about English. You see, most people believe that fluency comes from knowing big words or perfect grammar, but that's not true. Fluency comes from confidence, and confidence begins with the right mindset. So in this first week, I told myself one thing every single day. I'm allowed to make mistakes. I stopped judging myself for speaking wrong. I stopped translating sentences in my head. I allowed myself to speak imperfect English because I knew that fluency would come only if I spoke more, not less. I also made a promise. I will think of English not as a subject, but as a tool to express myself. This simple shift changed everything. I became more curious, more open, and more fearless. My goal was no longer to speak perfect English, it was to speak more English. That was the real beginning of my 30-day journey. Week 2. The input phase. Train your ears before your tongue. After building the right mindset in week 1, I moved to the most important but most ignored part of learning English: input. I realized that before I could speak English fluently, I needed to feed my brain with real, natural English. So in week 2, I completely immersed myself in English. No, I didn't read grammar books. I listened. I watched YouTube videos every day, especially the ones where native speakers talk in a natural, conversational tone. I picked topics I loved: travel, motivation, productivity, so that it never felt boring. I also started listening to English podcasts while walking or doing chores, which made English a part of my everyday life without adding extra pressure. And the biggest change? I started using subtitles. First, with subtitles on to understand everything clearly. Then I rewatched the same videos with subtitles off, training my ears to catch the natural flow, speed, and rhythm of spoken English. I wasn't just listening, I was absorbing tone, pronunciation, sentence patterns, and vocabulary. Slowly, my brain started recognizing common expressions automatically. I was still not speaking much at this stage, but something powerful was happening. English was becoming familiar, natural, and automatic in my mind, and that foundation made the next step so much easier. Week 3, the output phase. Speak even if it's not perfect. By the time I reached the 3rd week, I had already spent hours listening to English, absorbing its rhythm, tone, and natural expressions. But now came the most important and challenging part: speaking. This is where most learners get stuck. They listen, they read, they even understand, but when it's time to speak, they freeze. And I was no different. I knew if I wanted real progress, I had to overcome the fear of sounding wrong. So I made a powerful decision. I will speak every single day, no matter what. I didn't wait for someone to talk to me in English. I created opportunities to speak. I started with mirror talk, where I would look into the mirror and talk to myself in English for 5 to 10 minutes daily. It felt strange at first, but then it became my most trusted practice tool. I spoke about my day, my goals, what I was feeling, anything that came to my mind. The goal wasn't perfection. The goal was flow. Next, I used the shadowing technique. I'd pick a short English video or podcast, play one sentence, pause, and then repeat the sentence exactly like the speaker, copying their tone, pronunciation, and speed. This helped me not only improve my fluency, but also develop natural pronunciation without memorizing boring rules. I even started recording my voice daily. Yes, it was uncomfortable to hear myself in the beginning, but it gave me direct feedback. I could hear my hesitation, my filler words, my mistakes, and each day I got a little better. One of the biggest lessons I learned during this phase was this: fluency comes through repetition, not perfection. I didn't need to know every grammar rule before I opened my mouth. I just needed the courage to speak, the patience to repeat, and the discipline to show up daily. Every day I practiced speaking, I was building confidence. My sentences were becoming smoother, my vocabulary started coming out naturally, and most importantly, I stopped translating from my native language. English started flowing, slowly but surely. That's the magic of consistent output. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but it's where the real transformation happens. Week 4, daily routine and final breakthrough. From effort to flow. By the time I entered week 4, something inside me had changed. I was no longer learning English. I was living in English. What started as daily practice had now become a habit, a part of my identity. I didn't need to remind myself to speak or listen anymore. My brain had adapted. But I knew this final week was not just about maintaining progress. It was about creating a solid daily routine that I could follow beyond these 30 days. So I built a system that blended everything I had done so far into one powerful routine that took only 30 to 45 minutes a day, but delivered huge results. I divided my day into small blocks. Every morning, I'd start with 10 minutes of input, watching a short English video or listening to a podcast while making tea or breakfast. Then I'd do 10 minutes of output, either speaking in front of the mirror or shadowing a video clip. I made it a rule: no skipping. Even if I was tired, I would still do 5 minutes. In the afternoon, I'd write 3 simple English sentences about my day or my thoughts. I didn't focus on fancy grammar, just clear, natural sentences. And in the evening, I had my favorite part: review and reflection. I would listen to what I recorded, celebrate small improvements, and note the areas I could work on. Slowly, this routine gave me structure, stability, and a sense of real progress. English wasn't something I had to study anymore. It became something I used and enjoyed. The most beautiful part? I started thinking in English without realizing it. When I saw something around me, a chair, a street, a moment, I started naming it in English automatically. When someone asked me something, my brain responded in English without delay. This was my breakthrough moment. I was no longer afraid to make mistakes, no longer dependent on translations, and no longer doubting myself every time I opened my mouth. I had built a real connection with the language. Not through shortcuts, not through magic, but through consistent, intentional, and honest daily effort. And that's what I want you to take away from this video. Fluency is not a talent. It's a habit. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to show up every single day. Start your journey today. Now that you've seen how I transformed my English in just 30 days, I want to leave you with something even more powerful than tips, and that is belief. I'm not a native speaker. I didn't grow up speaking English. I made hundreds of mistakes. I forgot words. I hesitated. I even felt embarrassed sometimes. But I never stopped. I kept going because I knew that the only difference between someone who speaks fluent English and someone who doesn't is not talent. It's not luck. It's simply daily practice and the courage to keep going when it feels hard. So if you're someone who feels stuck, who wants to speak better but doesn't know how to begin, start today. Don't wait for the perfect time or the perfect grammar. Just take the first small step. Watch one video, speak one sentence, write one thought in English, and then repeat it tomorrow and again the next day. Because fluency doesn't come overnight. It grows slowly, quietly, with each small effort you make. And before you know it, you'll look back and realize you've changed. You're not the same learner you were a month ago. You've become a confident English speaker. And if you want help on this journey, I'm here. My channel, Fluent English Power, is created for learners like you, who are ready to grow, who want real progress. and who believe in themselves. So if this video inspired you, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Fluent English Power. Join this growing community of learners, and let's improve together, step by step, day by day. Your journey to fluency starts right now.